so interested in seeing what him and Quinn Ewers do this time. There's been so much hype.
We should have a pretty dangerous running back in Blake Corum.
Maryland's gone. Talia Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
A little too backyard footballers.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. And it's Saturday, so you know who I'm here with. My guy, all the way from up north, Mr. Alex Loosemore. What up, Alex?
Oh, man, I'm just, buzzing for today.
Let's go.
I couldn't tell you the last time I was this excited about the game happening today.
Yeah.
With just everything on the line.
Yep.
It was hard to get sleep last night. I'll say that.
Oh, I understand. It's like Christmas.
Yeah.
What is going on? I'm assuming this is Johnny Dean.
So, yeah.
What's up, Johnny Dean? Doing well, man. Doing well. Definitely check out my guy, NFL Edition, and with you guys Thursday night, Bucks Report, the whole nine, killing it, doing it. Happy Thanksgiving, my guy Norman V-Ray. What's up, Norm? Happy Thanksgiving, buddy. Yeah, buddy. So look, you heard him. I wish I would have been able to do this yesterday, but it's okay. It's all right. Because look, you know how we start the show. We got to get our teams amped up. Here's the pep talk, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, buddy. This is the first segment of the show called the Pep Talk, where we kind of give a little words of encouragement to our team, potentially going up against to a big matchup. And listen, I'm gonna turn it over to my guy over here, Mr. Loosemore. I understand you got something to say to your guys. Talk to me, Cat.
Yeah. So obviously this is the biggest game pretty much any of them have played. I think it's bigger than the playoff game last year against Georgia, just because of everything at stake here. And some of these guys, it's the last time they'll play this matchup.
Yeah.
So leave everything out there today. It sounds like Corum, Edwards, Keegan, the left guard, Schoonmaker, the tight end, Mike Morris, everyone are back. Corum is going to be limited based on pain. So just give it everything you got. Leave it out there. Let's pound the rock because these guys, we can run on them. This offensive line is pushed everybody around, whether it's been a good run defense or not. JJ's got to step up today. He's got to make these big time throws that they've been missing on week in and week out. You can't have those today. Defensively, you don't got Travion Henderson, it sounds like, on the other side. And Jackson Smith and Jigba as well does not sound like he will be there. So the two guys you need to focus on, Mayan Williams, the running back, big physical guy. Got to chop him down to the legs.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Marvin Harrison Jr., who's one of the top probably 5 players in all of college football this year.
Absolutely.
Double him at all costs. Leave everyone else one-on-one. I'll take my chances against Emeka Ibuka and Julian Fleming and those guys. Stop Marvin Harrison. Make C.J. Stroud go to these other guys and get in C.J. Stroud's face. That's how you'll win this game.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Johnny said, who needs this win more, Harbaugh or Day?
Oh,
good question.
That is a good question. I'm still going to roll with Harbaugh because he's still got the losing record in this matchup between the two coaches. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely say Harbaugh needs to win more.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. So for my pep talk, for those of you that do not know, North Carolina played yesterday, and for the second week in a row, we allowed the team to keep it close and lost. This one was a nail biter all the way down to the end, came to a late game touchdown to tie it, to take us to overtime.
Right at zeros, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. And they replayed it multiple times because it looked like it hit the ground, but I guess they said he had his hand under it. That takes us into overtime, go through one overtime, second overtime, have an opportunity to at least stay around, and we missed the daggone field goal. My pep talk, guys. This is what I talked about. The last time we were on here, this is exactly what I talked about. I understand we beat Wake. I understand, we were 6-0 on the road coming into this, but you got to play every single game, guys. You have to play every single game. Georgia Tech came in there. They gave you their best shot. NC State, this was a huge rivalry for them. They gave you their best shot. So right now, you're in the ACC championship. You're most likely going to have to play Clemson. Get back to fundamentals. Get back to what you've been doing all year. Drake May is your guy, but Drake May needs help. Josh Downs had an opportunity to win the game against Georgia Tech and drop the touchdown pass. He had a similar touchdown that was dropped that almost caused us to lose this pass game until we were able to get the pass to the tight end. So keep playing, follow your keys, fundamentals, and let's keep it moving. Yeah, buddy. Oh,
couldn't
man.
agree more.
Yeah, still rough. Harbaugh 1-5 facing top 5 opponents as Michigan HC.
Now those are pretty much all Ohio State. I'd like to throw that out there. I believe, because last year when we played Michigan State, I believe they were 7. So, yeah.
What's going on, Kyle? I know you got a big one today too. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, so that was our opening segment and our pep talk. Yeah, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, so we have so much football to get to, and we're definitely going to bring that to you. We also have a number of games that happened during this week. And one of my favorite things about Thanksgiving in America is that from Tuesday, I've already told everybody, from Tuesday through Friday in November, there's games all week. But you have Friday games that are just like half of the slate of games is on Friday after Thanksgiving. You have the Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving Day. You had a couple on Wednesday. It's so many games. I absolutely love this time of the year. But as we know, my guy, as I know, being a running back, there's one thing that I've always needed outside of the ball. You have to have the ball. Sure. But my coach told me that a long time ago. Can't do anything without the ball. But you also need guys like this over here. Lineman, ladies and gentlemen. And as we've been doing the last couple weeks, we've been kind of spotlighting certain linemen that you might need to take a look at coming into next year's draft. So we're going to go ahead to one of our favorite segments, Loosemore's Lineman. Yeah, buddy.
All right, so I went with another offensive tackle. I went Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. He was a 3-star at high school. He is currently a redshirt sophomore, so he could come back for 2 more years if he really wanted to. He is 6'6", 313 pounds. So the first guy that I've listed that's truly that tackle build, that really tall, solid guy. The other guys were 6'3", 6'4", could be guards if they wanted to. This is your true tackle. So last year as a redshirt freshman, Fashanu saw action in 4 games, played a total of 85 snaps, allowed no QB hurries, no hits, no sacks. So locked guys down in those 85 snaps. This year he's been very solid all year. And then just some strengths and weaknesses here, trying to keep it a little quick this week. So he's quick to get his hands up and will use his length and his advantage early in the down. He's got those really long tackle arms, and he uses them to his advantage. And I don't know what the actual arm length is. I was looking for that today, and I couldn't find it. I just didn't look at enough places. What's the reason for that? It's not that they're hiding it. Like I said, for some of these guys like Skoronsky and them, it's just I didn't look at the right spots. But he's got freakishly long arms. He, with those ability to get his hands up quick, he also flashes heavy hands, hits hard with that punch, knocks back pass rushers often. If you watch the tape on him, he'll get that initial punch, and normally guys punch and grab, but there's sometimes he can't grab because he's knocked those guys back. So very impressive punch. When it comes to the run game, he shows a very nice mean streak, does solid work getting to the second level, plays with a good base, shows good intelligence, instincts, and agility to seal off that edge. So, like I've said in the last couple of weeks. As a lineman, you don't need to be Michael or in the blind side running guys 80 yards downfield and throwing them into the stands to have a great block. If you just literally, okay, the runner's coming here, I just turn like this and seal the guy off so he can't make it back, that's a great block. Fashanu does that very well. He knows, okay, this is where the play is supposed to go. This is the angle I need to get the guy to seal him off. Does it time and time again. When he locks onto those guys, he's got that aggressive extension and that power. He looks very comfortable playing out in space, whether it's the screens, tackle coming out on the toss play. He's very comfortable out there, which very few guys are. So that impressed me a lot with him, especially at the college level. He has the strength and technique to hold up against the bull rush. So those stronger pass rushers that just try to run you over, he's got that strength, but he's got that ability to hop back and sit down and like lower his base and push back up to try and stop the guy. Very impressed with that. Shows exceptionally quick and precise hands in stopping the bull rush because typically they've got their hands right in your chest. So you reset and come under their hands, get under the shoulder pads, and then you lift up. He does very well with that, does it very quickly. He's a very good run blocker, especially as a tackle. Shows good burst off the line, a great ability to win at the point of attack. And kind of a common theme with these elite guys that I've listed so far. Good speed and athleticism to get up to the second level, but then he doesn't whiff on those blocks. He chops his feet, gets down, and makes that block. Very good blocker at the second level and in the run game. Yeah, Johnny, I wasn't going to say the high motor. I hate that trait that they give.
Yeah.
And just say he's a hard worker. Like, just time for a few weaknesses here. In pass pro, he's still a very raw prospect. So there's times where he looks a little lazy. Instead of trying to lock the guy out at the point of attack, sometimes he'll make them run the hoop is what it's called. So just kind of put the hand on the hip and run with them so the quarterback can step up in the pocket. So you see that quite a bit. In terms of twists, stunts, and blitzes, I highlighted Broderick Jones last week for being elite at this. He's quite hesitant, is Fashanu. He struggles to see twists, stunts, blitzes from time to time, and starts to second guess himself when there's those linebackers coming up or that nickel corner coming up. He's kind of hesitant, like, okay, are they coming? Are they sitting back? Instead of just trusting the play and trusting his instincts. That was quite noticeable for me. Every now and again, he gets sloppy with his hand placement. So instead of being in the chest plate, sometimes he'll be on the shoulders. Sometimes he'll be one on the shoulder pads and one on kind of like the rib cage. It's kind of all over the place. And he'll go in stretches like that. There's times where he's very consistent and times where he's not at all. With being so raw as a pass rusher or a pass protector, he's clearly way more comfortable as a run blocker. Like I said, with how comfortable he is out in space with the screens and the tosses and all that, he lives on the run game. He's one of those offensive linemen that just he'd love for you to run the ball 100 times a game. So that was quite noticeable for me. In terms of the draft, I've seen a lot of people pushing him up near the top 10. For me, with what I've seen, I would have a late first, early second grade on him. I have him kind of fourth or fifth on my list of tackles. But very good player. Still young. I think you'll get a very good tackle in the near future with him. Just some things to work on.
I can dig it. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, and that has been another installment of my guy and Loosemore's line. Yeah, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for being here with us. It's your boy, Sean Spencer. That's my guy, Mr. Alex Loosemore. And we're going to give you a quick little breather and then get into all the games that happened this week, as well as the games You see the hat. You see what he's wearing. The games that we are looking forward to in the next 40 minutes, to be honest with you, would be 11:20 Eastern. We have a new show, ladies and gentlemen, from the first couple of the Let's Talk Football community, the Swintons, and the show's called Swintons Unfiltered. And it's absolutely that, unfiltered, uncapped. Yep. It is dominant. We love it. They go on at 9:30. They're the halftime of the Sunday night football game. So I'm so excited to see what they got. But here's a little preview for that. We'll be right back. Yeah, buddy, that was Swinton's Unfiltered, and it will be with us Sunday evening at 9:30, halftime of the Sunday night football game, which this week is
every time,
every single time. That's why I just kept moving. I was like, I know he'll be back. Yo, so look, that's what it is. Swinton's Unfiltered. Check it out Sunday nights. But we got to bring you back to some college football, ladies and gentlemen. And look, like I've been talking about, we've had a bunch of games during the week, and this week was no different because it was Thanksgiving. Let's go ahead and get into it. We had some Tuesday night football. There was only a couple games on Tuesday night, but there's one that we discussed a week ago. Ball State, Miami, both coming into this game with 5 wins, looking for that extra win to make them bowl eligible. And Miami of Ohio, they were able to pull it out, man. They were able to get it done.
And steal it right at the end. They scored with 1.5 minutes left, right around there. Tried to go for a 2-point conversion to get up by 3, and it failed. So they gave Ball State about 1.5 minutes to try and get down the field. Obviously, they didn't get it. This is a game we talked about, like you said, where both teams had everything on the line trying to get that bowl game. And now for Ball State, you just got to hope that there's not enough 6-6 teams that they start pulling some of these 5-7 teams, and you get your bowl game.
Exactly. And like you were mentioning, Avion Smith threw that late 34-yard TD pass to Mike Marshall to beat them. They had an opportunity. However, Ball State was not able to get it done in what is dubbed as the Red Bird rivalry. Never thought.
I did not know that.
I did not know that at all. So, all right. Learn something new every single day. But Miami of Ohio looks like they have made it into bowl eligibility. So we will see what happens in the coming weeks. Another team that has made it bowl eligible a week ago was Bowling Green, but they were unsuccessful in this one. And look, they came up against a buzzsaw. Ohio is won 7 of their last 7 games in a row after starting off 2-3. They're now 9-3. And to be honest with you, new quarterback, the starter, Rourke was out, so they had the backup in Harris. He counted for 4 TDs. He had 3 rushing and a passing. Different quarterback. This is next man up. This is what we always talk about, what we would like to happen. Now, Boise State has been struggling this year, but they have 6 victories, and they are bowl eligible. But Ohio was just a buzzsaw today. Or I guess they're
this next man up mentality is what separates good teams from bad teams.
Yep.
Ohio coming in, like you said, they'd won 6 in a row going into this game without Rourke, their star quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And for this guy to come in and just take over and handle business, just nothing you can say but congrats to that guy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Ohio's running back, we talked about him a week ago, Bangura, had almost 4 yards short of 100 yards. So that definitely helped. But then, also the quarterback, McDonald for Bowling Green, threw 3 interceptions in this game. So, you can't win games doing that, especially against a stellar team like Ohio. So shout out to Ohio. We'll see. I believe this places them in the MAC championship game.
I believe so. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. I have to go back.
Yeah. So Ohio will play either Toledo or Eastern Michigan.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot.
Toledo 7-5, Eastern Michigan's 8-4, so that's a good game.
Oh yeah. Here we go. Shelby said, I just want to say Johnny Manziel is probably the best college football QB ever.
No. He won the Heisman off of beating Alabama that year.
Look, we hadn't seen anything like him before. He was pretty amazing when he played, but like you said, that one game shows how much it can propel players. I mean, we saw what it did to Hendon Hooker. Not saying he wasn't on that level, but it definitely gave him that extra boost to put him in the top 2 at one point before the injury. So
and I would take Hendon Hooker over Johnny Manziel.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and I don't put Hendon Hooker anywhere near the top college quarterbacks of all time. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Arguable, yes, but personal opinion. Hey, I understand. Yeah. And look, if you take away all of the extra stuff, all of the this, all of the, doing all that stuff on the sideline, if you take all that stuff away and just put him for talent, it's hard to find a quarterback or even a player that had the impact that he had, especially his Heisman season. So I'll definitely give you that. He is like by far up there in that conversation. But of all time, that's a stretch. Yeah, but hey, it is your opinion. It is your opinion. I am here looking to be provoked. What, you guys play Rutgers today? If you lose to that one, but we lost too, so I'm not tripping off that. Look, we got to move on. Thanksgiving was Thursday, and there was only one game on Thursday. The NFL has that day pretty dominated with the football. The Egg Bowl, ladies and gentlemen, Mississippi State getting the W, even though they almost tried to give it away a couple times. They got the W against Ole Miss, 24-20. Ole Miss is ranked 20th. They have been falling. They've lost.
Yeah, this is 3 in a row.
Yeah, and it's frustrating because I was definitely one of the people when they beat Kentucky. I said, Jackson Dart, watch out for this running game. These guys can really do something. But then I realized if you stop Jackson Dart, it's kind of suspect all the way around. So talk to me about this one because, Mississippi State has been struggling as well. I have always been touting their Will Rogers and Leach and that air raid offense. But, they were trying to give it away in this one. Talk to me about this one.
Yeah, well, the trying to give it away was right where I was going because Ole Miss scored with a minute 25 left. Went for 2 and almost tied the game.
Yeah.
I disagree with going for a shovel pass at the 2-yard line, personally. But that's why I'm not a head coach, I guess. That's why he's a head coach. He's making those decisions. But, I mean, it's a good competitive game. That's what you want to see with this week is good games all across the board because these are those big-time rivalries.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Ole Miss – I mean, they're kind of in a slump here. We'll see what happens with their bowl game and who they play, but they got to right the ship here. You got one more game.
Oh, absolutely. And Mississippi State also, 8-4. So, hey, shout out to them. It was a hard-fought game, like you said, came down to the wire. This is one of those games that doesn't get as much attention, unless you're in the SEC or unless you are from that area, but it's one of those hard-fought rivalries and one of the better rivalries in all of college football. So
they play each other tough all the time.
Absolutely. You can throw the records out. Mississippi State's basketball program is looking decent as well. Okay, cool. Yeah, absolutely. So this was the only game for the Thursday night slate, but there was a number of Friday night games. We're going to hit a couple, but definitely want to bring out the one that meant something to me. My guys, UNC losing to NC State 30-27 on a missed field goal in double overtime. This game came down to the wire. In fact, we were tied at one point. We throw an interception. Drake May throws the interception. They drive down on a beautiful back shoulder pass from Finley to I got to look
Devin
up
Carter, I believe.
Devin Carter, their best wide receiver, catches it, pulls into the end zone, and I'm sitting here like, oh, here we go again. But this is those moments that you say, Drake May, if you are as advertised, lead us down the field. And he did exactly that. Led us, drove right down the field, had several opportunities to win it, and also had some opportunities to lose it. We ran, I think it was a off-tackle play and a toss play, both at the goal line, and got snuffed. The plays got snuffed out. And I'm just like, Coach, no, we got them in the passing game. When we get spread out in the run, especially in the red zone, it's more difficult for us to run the ball. So that frustrated me. We ended up getting the touchdown to tie it, take it to OT,
right at zeros.
Right. And it was challenged. Every TD is challenged, but it was reviewed, looked at, and even the announcers were like, I don't think he caught that. And I that's where I was kind of like, okay. But then we go into overtime, get through the first overtime, only to lose on a missed field goal in double overtime. Look, like I said in the pep talk, this was one of the games, this one as well as last week against Georgia Tech. These were the two games that I was really worried about because you've been doing so well. The Heisman hype and all those people start coming in and talking to Drake May, talking to the coaches. Look how good North Carolina's done, yada, yada, yada. And then you just saw that head growing and growing and growing. And it's just like, we're just set up to fall. We're set up to fall in one of these type of games. So, hey, shout out to NC State. This was a huge game for them. Definitely a huge one for us that we ended up not getting, but still are in the ACC championship game. So we shall see what happens going on down the line. What does this mean for UNC, though? 2 losses in the last 3 weeks.
It means if you're an ACC fan, Clemson's got to win that to get a chance at the playoff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still think North Carolina is going to win that game. I still do. I have zero faith in Clemson. I think it's going to be a very good game. It's going to really affect the bowl game, though, for North Carolina.
Yeah.
Because if they win that, obviously you'll be in a New Year's Six bowl, probably playing someone like Alabama, LSU, that whichever wild card they pick from the SEC. And I believe it's the Sugar Bowl that you guys would be playing.
I think so.
But then if you lose that game and you're sitting there at 9-4, then it drastically changes versus 10-3, where you'll be for that bowl game.
Oh yeah. So we shall see. Like I said a couple weeks ago, everything was right in front of us. Unfortunately, we were unsuccessful and in a double negative yesterday. Not only did we lose in this game, North Carolina basketball, who was ranked number 1 in the country, loses to a, albeit solid, Iowa State team that shot the lights out. Shout out to their guard, Grill. This dude just shot the lights out against us.
Yeah, we could not miss.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have that, you can't do anything about it. I mean, kudos to them for getting the W in the PK, the Phil Knight tournament that they had going on. So yeah, shout out to them, the Sweet and Low Bowl. Hey, anything is better than the Duke's Mayo Bowl a year ago, where the winning coach gets the mayo dumped on him.
Or the Idaho Potato Bowl.
Right.
Some of these names, man.
They are ridiculous. And ladies and gentlemen, we're definitely going to get into it once bowl season comes and just kind of break down some of the random names, the Humanitarian Bowl and all this. Definitely got to get into it. But look, there were so many other games. There's a lot of games out there on Friday night. What are some of the games that you paid attention to?
So for me, the big one I looked at was Baylor, Texas.
Yeah.
Because we'll talk about the other side of this in a little bit, but Texas still has a chance to get into the Big 12 championship game.
Oh, yeah.
So they had to win to have a shot still against a Baylor team that's underperformed, but is still a very good team.
Right.
Plays guys week in and week out. Very tough. And then there's one more for me, Tulane and Cincinnati. Tulane had lost 77 games in a row against AP top 25 teams. It's the longest streak in the history of the AP poll.
Wow.
They finally broke that streak. It was 1984, I believe, the last time they won a game against a top 25 team.
Yo, shout out to Tulane, and to do it against Cincinnati, who, as we know, a year ago was in the Final Four.
In Cincinnati, too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is one of the games I was watching early, and it was slow to start. But you can tell, I mean, whatever Tulane's got going on this year, I mean, they really are charged and ready to go. They've been playing, I mean, together, and they just looked like they were the better team in this one. Yeah. They looked like they were more comfortable in this game. So,
well, if you look at it, we were talking about that group of 5 team getting that New Year's 6 bid. The best one always does.
Yeah.
And Tulane's right there right now. They're the highest ranked team at 10-2.
Oh, yeah.
So they might be in one of those New Year's 6 bowls.
Hey, let's see. But more importantly, let's hope that they can continue this momentum and actually challenge one of the team that they're going to play, because and we'll discuss that at a later time. But that's something that, the transfer portal, the NIL, some of that stuff is kind of evening the playing field. Yeah. But I can't stand when one of these teams goes and plays these big name schools and they get ran out of the building. You know what I mean? Let's Tulane, hopefully they got a little something. Cincinnati wasn't successful, but I think they were more successful in that game against Alabama than the score would indicate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it got out of hand late, that one.
Yeah, it did. So we shall definitely see. But yeah, I mean, along with that, I mean, yeah, definitely Baylor, Texas. I was watching Tulane, Cincinnati. One of the games that actually Nathan was talking about, Arizona State, Arizona. Wow, Arizona pulling out the upset over at Arizona. Well, I don't even know if it's an upset because Arizona State hasn't been terribly great this year.
I would say Arizona should have won that game.
Yeah. So Arizona got the W, and obviously this is another rival game. It definitely got testy at certain parts, and especially at the end, where there's a little scuffle that broke out. But shout out to Arizona. I mean, they're 5-7, one game out of being bowl eligible. But like you said, if some of these 6 and 6s aren't, paying attention, or maybe, a lot of getting into a bowl is your record. But another part of it is bolsters really want to see who is going to bring in a crowd, who is going to be a good game to watch. They don't want to see a team that barely squeaked in at 6 and 6, but is terrible. You know what I mean? That maybe lost 5 out of their last 6. They want to see a team that's on the rise and that's moving up. So who knows, man? This is a big win for Arizona. Putting up 30. Putting up 38 is not something that they're used to. But I mean, hey, in-house rivalry, in-state rivalry. Shout out to the Wildcats, man. Let's go.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, buddy.
We got that other night game last night, Florida State.
And what a game that was.
That was such a good game, man.
I was on the show, and shout out to Foobs, Andrew Faubert. We were on his show last night in SD. And I know I was watching it. I know you guys were watching it. We're all kind of looking over the side like, Florida State scored again. Florida scored again. I mean,
look, so back and forth. Like
that was the crazy part. And it was at one point it was 38-24. But I never had that feeling that it was over. Like I was kind of like, okay, Richardson, what you got? And when he brought them back and tied it, I was like, oh, here we go. But in Florida State ended up pulling it out late. And shout out to Norvell. Mike Norvell. One of the things I heard last night was that everywhere he goes, his offense average 30 points a game. He That's does impressive. Something right. Yeah. Especially for Florida State kind of putting them back on the map. I love that.
Well, and people were calling for his head at the beginning of this year, like going in, like if we lose like 3-4 early, he should be gone.
Yeah.
You're 9-3.
Yeah.
A very successful season. Like I was one of those people that was like, okay, this might be the last year. And then you see maybe Dion can be the next head coach. Like I was ready for him to go too.
Oh yeah.
But way to just block out the noise, focus on your job, and be very successful at it.
Absolutely.
Very good season for Florida State.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And look, and you go back to that first week that they get the victory over LSU off the mixed extra point, but then or the blocked extra point. But that you look now at that game and it's like, do you see how high LSU is? That's why I asked the question a week ago what will it take for Florida to get up there or Florida State to get up there? Obviously, they're too far down there, especially with the 3 losses. But beating an LSU, that game just looks better and better and better because Florida State's offense is coming correct, man.
Well, I mean, if you look at college football, you've got Florida State, who's at 16. They won.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame, USC play. Michigan, Ohio State play. Kansas State plays a tough game. Oregon plays a tough game. Utah plays a tough game. Like, there's a lot of teams right above them that have the chance to fall below them.
Yeah.
So FSU could push maybe top 10 here, realistically.
Oh,
I don't think they'll hit the top 10, but fall just outside it.
And so, you know what, man? And the one thing I think this does do, and it's something that has not been there for a while, it brings back that credibility to Florida State. You know what I mean? I mean, some of us, we remember the 2000 when, Peter Warwick and how dominant that team was with under Coach Bowden. Then, obviously, Jameis Winston had his year where they won the national championship, and that was solid. But, I mean, I think we could both agree they've fallen off these last couple years. And to have them back and have a 10-win season, are getting up to that, or potentially getting a 10-win season. Yeah. And getting a solid bowl game, playing high-quality matchups late in the year, and then getting a victory over Florida, which they haven't been able to do for a while.
Think of what that does for recruiting.
Right.
That is huge for recruiting, especially beating Florida. Beating these in-state teams is huge.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these, like, for example, Michigan, Ohio State, there's a lot of recruits that watch that game that are being recruited heavily by both teams.
Exactly.
That can make or break a person's recruiting. That's huge for FSU.
And
I agree. I think they'll just miss the New Year's Six game, but they'll still get a very good bowl.
Absolutely. But I mean, it says something. And like you alluded to earlier, we had Norvell on our hot seat in the beginning of this season. We had him out there as somebody that could potentially go. So to have the turnaround that he had, and then to your point about him winning the games in state, gets the win over Florida. They destroyed Miami 45-3. So the fact that they put up 45 in multiple games, I mean, they've put up 44 against Boston College. This offense led by Travis is playing, I mean, legit and at the right time. The right time. So obviously they'll need some help, but yeah, we shall definitely see where they fall. One of the other ones I wanted to talk about really quickly, Nebraska getting the W over Iowa. This is another team that lost their coach earlier in the year. They lost Scott Frost
and just found a new one.
Exactly. And that's why I wanted to bring this up. How much does and for those of you that don't know, Matt Rule has decided to take the Nebraska coaching job in the coming future. How much does that news impact what's been going on? And I mean, and this is a big win over Iowa.
Yeah, and it sucks for the interim head coach because he's turned this around and done very well.
Yeah.
So it sucks to see him probably go, I would assume. I don't think he'll stick around and be a defensive coordinator again. But it's huge in terms of recruiting to find your coach this early and somebody that's got the college resume of a Matt Rule.
Yep.
Because Matt Rule going to Nebraska, as a Michigan fan, scares the hell out of me, honestly. Because he's quickly turned around Temple, he quickly turned around Baylor, and been very successful at both.
Right.
So you get him at a school that has the history of Nebraska, that's dangerous. Very dangerous.
Absolutely. And look, we will see. And this will also answer the question if he's primarily a college coach. I mean, we've seen what he did in the league, and to his credit, the Panthers were a struggling organization. They had a lot. I know they had certain pieces that were solid, but they don't have a quarterback. They've been trying to figure out who's going to put in that spot. They have a solid defense, but injuries, O-line, not just having a sustainable running back. There's a lot of things that really kind of weighted down, and they gave him full control, which in the NFL, full control is a lot different than in college. So let's see if he's able to bring back Nebraska, like you talked about them being a storied franchise. Let's see if he'll bring it back to prominence. Let's see if he'll do that.
I fully expect them to. I think like 2-3 years they're back.
Oof. Hey, I can't wait to see it. Now, look, there's a lot of other games, and you guys should definitely take a look and recap some of these because the action was absolutely out of this world. But we have less than 15 minutes till these games, so I got to let my guy talk. I got to let him sit here and get it off his chest. And I got to ask you, let me ask you this, because we're going to talk about Michigan and Ohio State. Take me back to last year. Take me back to before this game, 365 days ago. Obviously, it probably wasn't that exactly, but what were your thoughts? Were you confident? Were you nervous? Where was your head at last year?
I was nervous, not as nervous as I am this year, but I expected us to beat them. That was the one year where I remember all week before, like going up to it in the shows, I was kind of going back and forth, and then they asked me at the end of the NFL edition that Thursday night to predict it, and I said, "Screw it, I'm going Michigan by 3." Obviously, it was 42-27, and I got a little thing to show here.
Let's go,
Dwayne Haskins.
Woo!
Signed a jersey here with his. Oh, I'll go this way first. His name and number on the 2, and then beat OSU 5 touchdowns on there. So I found that signed jersey online. I had to get it. But yeah, that was one of those games you see these guys and you get emotional after their big wins. I almost cried that game.
Oh yeah, Katie did.
Because
Katie let us
the
know.
first time since 2011 that we beat them, and I wasn't really watching back then.
Yeah.
So for as intense as I've been watching, and pretty much for the last 7-8 years, it's been like, yeah, we're really good, and then we get to Ohio State and get manhandled. And it's just like, damn, man. And like there was the JT was short game, and like a couple times like that where we got close but not close enough. I couldn't agree more with Ben here. I think if he lost that game, there's a good chance he goes to the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have fired him after the year they had last year. But I think if he didn't do that, he probably would have gone. But yeah, there's that just energy around this game. Obviously, both 11-0 for the first time since 2006.
Yes.
There's a good chance there's only one playoff spot for these guys, unless if a TCU and USC lose, then I think the loser of this game still slides in. And even if you look at a lot of the like playoff predictors and all that, they still favor the loser of this matchup to get in. I don't buy that.
Wow.
I think a conference champion slides in. Now they're saying it would be Georgia, the winner of this, and TCU would be the top 3. And they're saying Michigan would get in over a 1-loss USC or a 1-loss Clemson, or Ohio State, they say, would easily walk in over USC or Clemson.
I can see it. So, hey, 365 days now. Where are you at? Are you that confident? Break this thing down, because we talked about their injuries. We've talked about Corum potentially be pitch count. Where is your head at logistically and then fan wise?
For me, I'm sitting there, and when Michigan's healthy, they can run the ball on absolutely anybody. Ben, the only way a second SEC team gets in is if LSU beats Georgia, which I do not expect to happen at all. Yeah. Second SEC team won't get in. It'll either be second Big Ten team, one Pac-12 team, or Clemson if they win the ACC title game. As far as this game goes, like I said, they can run the ball on anybody. Depends which J.J. McCarthy we get. We know the Michigan defense is going to show up. It worries me a little bit the secondary hasn't really been tested this year. And your first big test is Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah. That's a little worrisome.
Yeah.
But I feel like we'll be able to get pressure. This Michigan team actually is better at rushing the passer than last year's Michigan team.
Right.
They've got more sacks, and I don't think it's really even that close. But Ohio State's offense is just so damn powerful, and that defense is much better than it was last year. Absolutely. Last year was ranked somewhere in the 60s. This year they're up around the top 10.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're much better in pretty much every aspect. I expect this game, like, they gave 7.5, 8 points to Ohio State in the spread. I expect this game to be won by less than 5.
Ooh,
I think this is very close. And based on the health of these players, I am rolling with Michigan. No Travion Henderson, no Jackson Smith and Jigba. I've got Michigan by 3.
Oh yeah. Now we've talked about this. You told me this before. You said the weather is supposed to be clear.
It's nice there. Okay. It's nice right now.
Okay.
I was praying for snow and rain for the last 2 weeks.
Right.
Ever since that Northwestern game, I was just like, come on, crappy weather, please.
Yes.
I've been one of those people checking the weather like every couple days. Like,
every day.
What's the weather supposed to be like in Columbus? And then it's just like,
refresh. Come on. Ben says Michigan 27, Ohio State 24. Listen,
see, I had 30-27.
Right. So from what I've seen, like you said, when you guys are going downhill, especially with that offense, running the ball and limiting JJ McCarthy from doing too much extra, I honestly think with that and then solid defense, you're potentially unbeatable. And then at the same time, I've talked to you about CJ Stroud. We know his talent. We know how good he is. But I think this year, with having that 3-headed monster in the backfield, both prior to this game, it's kind of hidden some of his, shortcomings. Some of the things that, that may be some red flags. So we're going to see. Now, I think you hit the nail on the head. The matchup of the day is going to be your wide receivers and that passing game against that secondary. And like I told Anthony and them about Georgia last year, going into the SEC championship, your secondary hasn't been tested. And if you get the right team to test them, and we saw what Alabama did in the SEC championship, that you better watch out. But fortunately for them, their team was just that great that didn't matter. You know what I mean? So and with you guys, I think it's going to come down to that. But I honestly think if you guys could shut down that air attack and just limit them on the ground, have that solid D, but also run the damn ball. Keep them keep that offense off the field. I got y'all winning by 7.
That offense has to be perfect.
Yep.
That's what you have to do. Make it so they have to score every time.
Oh yeah. And like I told you about, this is a JJ McCarthy game for me. This is a game where we know what the running game is. We know the deep. We know everybody else. He needs to show up and prove that he's not just, this flashy quarterback that can make really great plays against the Rutgers and, some of the lesser teams and do it when it really matters. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see. We shall definitely.
I can't wait.
I know you're just chomping at the bit. So look, we're not going to go. That's what I wanted to focus on mainly. There's a couple other games we definitely should talk about.
Big time games.
Well, right. This game means something to me. Clemson at 10-1 playing South Carolina at 7-4. I will say I did not expect that at the beginning of this year. And then I also didn't expect what they did to Tennessee a week ago. Dear God.
To me, that's arguably the best single game performance we've seen all season by a team.
Right.
That's right up there. I'll put that up against pretty much anybody. He looked good, but he also looked good coming out of warmups at halftime last week and played a couple plays. So it's just going to be based on what he can do pain-wise. I kind of agree with Johnny there. I don't necessarily want to have to depend on McCarthy.
Yep.
That with how he's played this season, it's been so up and down that scares the hell out of me.
Yeah.
This is one of those games where it was good to have Cade McNamara last year because you knew what you were going to get.
Yes.
So, but McCarthy was the guy that's supposed to take us over the top. So take us over the top.
There it is.
This game though, if this game absolutely comes down to what Spencer Rattler we get. If we get the Spencer Rattler that showed up last week, South Carolina's beating Clemson. Yeah. I don't think it'll be close. I think they'll mop the floor with them. But if you're Clemson, you've got to keep Spencer Rattler off the field, especially if he's this hot. It's a good thing you can run the ball like crazy on South Carolina. That run defense is terrible.
Yeah.
So Will Shipley might have 200 rushing yards today. Like, it's that bad for South Carolina. But again, Rattler's going to have to be perfect.
Yeah.
We talked about Stroud having to be perfect. Rattler's going to have to be perfect.
And honestly, I think this is going to come down to, like you said, which Spencer Rattler we're going to see or which South Carolina team we're going to see. This is a South Carolina team that we know put up 63 against Tennessee. We know that. But they also upset Kentucky 24-10. But they also lost to Missouri. You know what I mean? They also got stomped by Florida. So it's really what team are you getting? Like, absolutely what you're talking about. That run defense is poor. We've seen, they have Cam Smith in the secondary. He's a ball hawk, but that's it. You know what I mean? Like, what else do you have there? We know how that running game is with Clemson and the solid defense. This could very well be like a 17-10 game, or it could be 45-38. Like, it could be a shootout. You know what I mean? You've talked about it that you're not sold on Clemson.
Not in the slightest.
I'm not sold on DJ Uiagalelei. I'm not sold on the quarterback.
Yeah.
I love Shipley. I love that defense. And I think
you got probably 4 NFL defensive linemen on that defense now.
Right. One of the guys I was going to say when we were going to the draft last night, or the mock draft, was Deese, their D line at a Clemson top 10 potentially. So honestly, in this game, you're absolutely right. It's going to be a rivalry game, both in the state of South Carolina. We'll see if Beamer's got these guys playing. It's just it's not seeming to be consistent. They had the 4 or 5 game winning streak,
up and down.
But it's just 1 week great, 1 week down. So we'll see what team shows up. I think the thing that could potentially plague Clemson is overlooking this game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they still have aspirations to potentially make it to the Final Four. So they know they have us, which was going to be a tough test. But this game could very well be something that they potentially overlook. So they have to get this one, get the next one for them to still be in consideration as a 1-loss team and conference champ. So we'll see. We'll absolutely see. What are some of the other ones real quick? I'm gonna let you go. We're not even gonna do going for 2 because I see the games are about to start. You have anything else that you're really looking at as far as today?
So for me, I brought up the 1 half of Texas Baylor, and I said we'd talk about the other part later. So for me, Kansas State, Kansas.
Oh yeah.
This game decides who plays TCU next week in the Big 12 championship game. If Kansas State wins, they're in. It's winning, you're in. Simple as that for Kansas State. But it's also losing, you go home.
Yeah.
Because with Texas beating Baylor last night, if Kansas State cannot beat Kansas, Texas goes back at another shot at TCU. And TCU, I think, should probably be hoping for Kansas State to win.
Oh yeah.
I think if Texas gets another shot at them, I think they beat them.
They get the dub. Now, I'm right there on board with you. Now I got to say that first one looked rough at points, and TCU looked all of as advertised. But it's difficult, and we saw with Georgia a year ago. It's difficult to beat a team twice in the same season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Georgia only got shell shocked in the SEC championship game. Once they got to the Natty, they flipped it. So I completely agree with you. Look, Texas is another team that is inconsistent. We've seen how they can go toe-to-toe with Alabama. We've seen how they can
with their backup quarterback.
Right. We've seen how they've been able to sustain, but at the same time, you lose a number of these matchups in the Big 12 that it's just like, what are you doing? I mean, at one point, we're talking about Quinn Ewers, man. He's the guy for the future. And then the next time, in the next breath, we're talking about, well, are they looking at who's coming up behind him? Can he hold the job? He's having a hard time holding it even from his backup. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? So we'll see. We will definitely see. That's definitely one I'm looking at. And keeping in that same realm, TCU still got to get the W today. They still got to beat a 4-7 Iowa State team, yes, but with weapons. They have Xavier Hutchinson, who is one of the best wide receivers in the country.
Without a doubt.
And so TCU is going to have to get this done. Is there any chance TCU overlooks Iowa State today?
Oh, absolutely. Because like you said, 4-7, TCU's already locked into the Big 12 championship game. There's probably a good number of people looking at Big 12 championship and playoffs already.
Yeah.
So we've seen a number, like Michigan, it took the last second field goal to escape Illinois. Maryland almost beat Ohio State. Georgia struggled last week. Like all these other big time teams, it took TCU running on the field as the clock was running to kick a field goal. The kicker couldn't even line himself up. He just had to get out there. Okay, let's go. So don't make the same mistake. Do not overlook these guys because they will test you.
Yeah.
For me, I think TCU still wins this game, and I think they win it fairly handily. But they cannot sleep on Iowa State.
No.
Not at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. Look, I'm going to forego all the other games just for one more because we do have to go. A game, I'll let you talk about it, Alex, because you said something crazy is about to happen.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame beats USC. I think this is the perfect matchup for USC to lose. Look at how Utah beat USC earlier. You pounded the rock and you played defense.
Yep.
Notre Dame's doing exactly that, and they're doing it better than Utah.
Absolutely.
Notre Dame in the last 5 games is averaging 40 points a game. So they've got the offensive weaponry to match USC.
Oh, yeah.
40 points matches USC. This defense, though, I think is what's going to be the difference maker. You've got Isaiah Foskey and a couple of these guys that can pressure Caleb Williams with that horrible offensive line he's got at USC. And I think they make it difficult for USC to move up and down the field like they do against everybody. So I still expect it to be extremely high scoring. I would say somewhere in the 31-28 range for Notre Dame.
I like that. I got 42-28. I think Notre Dame, I think it's close, and then Notre Dame get like a pick six at the end that stretches it out a little bit more.
Okay.
But I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Johnny, we'll see.
Woo, okay. One thing I will say about Notre Dame is what we have seen, Notre Dame. What we have seen, and I've seen it up close and personal. That defense can stop high-powered offense.
Yep.
I mean, we had come off games where we had scored 60, 35, 44, and going up and against them. And albeit, I want to say Sam Howell, Drake May had a solid game in that one. We still lost that one. They put up 42 against us, and they shut us down on offense. So, hey, watch out for Notre Dame. I'm telling you, USC without the running back, it's going to be very interesting because you want to talk about a Heisman moment. We all know about the Bush push and all that stuff. Watch out for this one.
If they win this game and Caleb has a big play, he locks up the Heisman.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
He said, "Remember Marshall." Oh yeah, I remember it. I mean, you could.
This is not the same team though, Johnny.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. We can remember all those first couple games, but honestly, I think things turned around for me, in my opinion, at North Carolina, because that's when they switched it. They took a team that has a top player, a top team and that was undefeated at the time, and they were able to beat them. So honestly, this game is definitely going to be close. I think Notre Dame can pull it out. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are even going to forego a going for two because it is 12:04. I'm not going to hold my guy any longer. We appreciate you guys being here with us.
Yes.
Hey, college football is here and appreciate it. Enjoy it. Watch every game because it will be gone in 2 months. So please watch all these games. I'm Sean Spencer. My guy over there is Alex Loosemore. We are going to let you guys go. I'm going to send you out on all of the shows that we have in the Let's Talk Football community. Alex, I'll get with you in the comments later. Definitely got to get a NSD commercial for you guys.
Yeah.
So I can play that. And also an NFL edition. I don't know if you guys have one.
No, we don't.
Does anything
we can figure something out though.
Okay, yeah. Anything to help promote you guys.
Yeah.
So we appreciate all of you guys being in the comments. Johnny, Ben, Andrew, all of our guys, even Jason Swade came in there. But after I didn't play along, he said, I'm not doing this. He pouted him out. So, yo, we are gonna. Oh yeah. Shout out to Nate, guys. Watch Big Nate Sports Talk.
Yes.
Check him out. Definitely does great stuff. Covers football, basketball, college pro, everything, men's and women's. So definitely tune into that. And there's gonna be a lot of things going on. But look, I'm not gonna hold my guy. We got to go watch this game. Good luck. Go Blue. I'm Sean Spencer. That's my guy, Alex Loosemore. We'll see you next time, baby.